And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Well, there's the ornament, this year's ornament for Landmark Society of Greater Utica. They'll be selling that ornament very shortly. Mike Bosak, I don't think the ornament is even produced yet, is it?
No, it's on its way, I'm told.
Mm-hmm.
So this year it is the Central Fire Station.
Yeah.
Last year we did the police station, so we had to turn about as fair play, of course. We had to pay homage to the fire department, and it is the 1911 original city fire department central station at 235 Elizabeth Street.
And for those who aren't old enough to remember when the fire station was there, that's right across the street, right across Elizabeth Street from the county courthouse.
Yes, and it's now actually the Utica County Supreme Court Law Library.
Mm-hmm. Talk about great repurposing.
That was an excellent repurpose, yes. So we are going to honor that on Thursday, November 8th from 6 to 8 p.m., 6 o'clock p.m. till 8 p.m. It's free and open to the public. And come on in for refreshments. And it's not going to be at the Law Library. It will be at the new or the current Central Fire Station. And that's on Bleecker Street, 552 Bleecker Street in Utica.
You just go over a few blocks from Genesee on Bleecker Street. Everybody, I think, knows where that is.
Not far from Oscanese.
Not so exactly. How much is the ornament selling for, Mike?
They're selling for $25.
And this is number what in the series?
You know, I think this is about the 20th or so.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it since 2000. Well, probably the 19th. We've done it since the year 2000.
Will there be any other the old ornaments for sale that night?
Yes, those that we have left. I know we do have some of the Whitestown Town Hall. We've got some, I think, some of the schools and all that. Mm-hmm. But many of them have sold out. They're definitely collector's items.
Is this the signature fundraiser for Landmarks?
It's among them, yes. Yeah. Especially, it's done very well for us, especially around the holidays. You know, there are people that have collected all of them.
Speaking of dates, you've got something coming up, and I should know the date because I'm going to be there speaking November 15th. 15th. That
is our annual banquet, meeting, and award ceremony, and that's going to be at Danielle's Valley View Country Club and Conference Center, and that's on the corner of the Parkway and Valley View Road. It's $28 a person, and it's not just for Landmarks members. If you're interested in Landmarks and what we do, it's a good opportunity to find out what we do.
Yeah.
So we will have several awards to be given out. Among them will be the Winston Building, and the Art and Vine is another one, and several others. So it's going to be a very interesting event. It's a really great venue if you haven't been there lately. But that is on Thursday, November 15th, again from 6 p.m. until 9:30 p.m.
You remember Kewpies?
Sure.
Yeah. Would that be considered a landmark?
It could.
Yeah.
It certainly could.
Well, I hope so, because I'm thinking about talking about Kewpies that night. We'll see.
Sure.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I do remember going in there. I was probably about 6 years old when I went in there, but I did go in there.
Well, you know, I wrote columns for the OD for many years, and I could tell you what columns were the most favorably received, and it was always Kewpies.
Sure.
If I would write something about Kewpies, I would get a lot of mail, a lot of reaction to that. It just, you know, it left a good taste in people's mouths, so to speak.
There you go.
Also, you've got another, as long as we're talking about events coming up, you've got the holiday event coming up. Let me see here. There we go. There we go. That is a house on Clinton Place, yes?
Yes, it is. Yes, our holiday house, and we've been doing that for about 10 years now, is going to be on Saturday, December 8th. It's at 15 Clinton Place in Utica, and that is from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. $10 at the door. There's no reservations required. We'll have music, we'll have refreshments, and basically it's a self-guided tour around. We'll have docents to talk about the house. But it is a gorgeous house that was built in 1873 for a Mr. Brewster, and the architect was William Simmons of New York, New York. It's a classic house. Beautiful corbelled brick, curved glass windows. It's really something that needs to be seen.
Talking about open houses, when is there going to be another chance for people to get into number 3 Rutger Park?
We're pretty much done for the season now. Our Ritz and Ragtime was a couple of weeks ago, and that did very well. But we're actually working on many things with the house, and we're working on heat for one thing, because right now we just turn the heat off and put, we have moisture control basically in there to control humidity, but it's probably going to be closed pretty much until next year. But if you haven't been in there lately, there's been an awful lot of work going on. All the floors on the ground floor have been redone. They're absolutely gorgeous. And one thing we are working on right now is the back porch, because that was deteriorating pretty badly.
Yeah, and you got a picture of that back porch, so let me show that back porch. And this photograph, Mike, was taken when?
It's somewhere between the time that it was built, which would have been 1830, and 1894 when they put the addition on. So let's say 1860s or so, for argument's sake. We're going to try to recreate that porch as close as possible from the pictures. It's going to be really something special.
What about gardens? Did they have a garden back?
They had tremendous gardens back there, and there are some pictures of those that exist. Little by little, we're trying to work our way to the outside of the building and all, and do the exterior. Hopefully within the next year or two, we hope to do something with the front facade, recreating that, and once we do that, we'd love to light it up at night. I think that would be really an awesome view. We're going to actually be doing some work on number 1 as well. We didn't forget that, but it was quite an undertaking for Landmarks, who never owned property before, to 10 years ago this year buy those 2 properties and the property where number 2 once sat.
Number 1 would be the old Dowling Nursing Home?
Yes, yes. It's in a little bit of worse condition, only because there's a lot of peeling paint and all that. But little by little, we're going to be working on that one as well as we move along on number 3.
And we had, for those who aren't as familiar with it as you are, Mike, if you were to come up John Street and look at Rutger Park, you have number 1 to the right, the old Dowling Nursing Home. Then you have a blank space where number 2 is lost. That just deteriorated to the point that
it got pretty bad, and the owners at the time petitioned to have it demolished. Landmarks fought that pretty vehemently. Unfortunately, the judge sided with the owners and it was torn down. In retrospect, it probably could have been saved. Again, you mentioned repurpose. That building never really had a purpose per se when the Dowlings owned it. They had number 1 as the nursing home. Number 3 was actually their home. Number 2 was primarily, I think, a frat house. So they really didn't have a good use for it, and that's what contributed, in my opinion, to its deterioration.
And what, next door to number 3, is that the old Swancott home?
The old Swancott home, that's privately owned as well. We have a very, very good working relationship with those gentlemen that own that. Number 5, which is the big Richardsonian Romanesque heavy stone building.
Looks a little bit like a castle.
Kind of.
Yeah.
The old Teamsters, original Teamsters office building and all, that's privately owned. And a couple of years ago, number 7, the newer Teamsters building, was purchased by Bernie Ederino and his group, and that is at least partially occupied, if not fully occupied by now. So by virtue of Landmarks purchasing 1, 3, and the property where 2 was, we have helped to bring this neighborhood around, or at least start to bring this neighborhood around. I think that's very important to note, that there has been a turnaround in that neighborhood.
Okay. Mike Bosak's our guest. We're talking about landmarks. We'll be talking about some more landmarks right after this. Short break, right back.